can be quite the handful, but my next guest is here to help. Hello and thanks for joining us. I'm Jamie Lynn Drohan and you're watching Eye on Ocean County. My guest today is Carole O'Brien. She is the Director of Training and Quality Assurance for Prevent Child Abuse New Jersey. And today we're talking about how we can help families. Thanks so much for joining us. Welcome to Eye on Ocean County.
Thank you for having me.
Why don't you give us a little background on your position and what it is you do to help families here in New Jersey?
Okay, I am the Director of Training and Quality Assurance with Prevent Child Abuse New Jersey. I actually came to Prevent Child Abuse New Jersey as a volunteer, volunteering and facilitating parenting workshops and parenting groups, which is something that we still today do through community groups at school districts, for professionals, for churches, so that we can help parents connect to each other, so that because that's really where the experts are.
To find that support.
Yes.
I see.
Yes.
Well, what type of questions or concerns are you hearing from parents today?
The economy, first and foremost, makes parenting a lot tougher and puts stresses on families that perhaps weren't there a year ago.
Right.
And so a lot of parents are really struggling with finding new ways of meeting the needs of their families given the economic strains. Parents also feel quite isolated. They do that, they parent, pretty much in isolation, and they do not always get support from others. If you're a working parent, it's hard to talk about your family and your issues at work because your mind has to be on your tasks on the job. And if you're a stay-at-home mom, or a stay-at-home dad, it's hard to find other families. Gone are the days where all the moms gathered with the children playing in the yard and spoke about their concerns, their wishes, their hopes, their desires, the next science test in school. We don't have that support anymore.
That stay-at-home mom type thing is not very common either. I mean, I remember when I was younger, my mom actually, took off work for about 12, 15 years just to raise the family, but it's not always an option today.
No, it's not an option. And then what's also happened is because of the changing environment and the way that we seek out our professions and our jobs, we're a very mobile society. So grandma and your aunts and uncles are not down the street. They're, states away, miles away, sometimes countries away. And it makes it very difficult. We've lost that extended family. That was a huge support system, support system.
And do you find that a lot of parents today, because they are working sometimes multiple jobs and sometimes it's single family households, do you find a lot of times that they're relying on the teachers at school and the administrators at school to help in raising their children?
I think that they more find that perhaps, or they believe that perhaps the child care providers, the teachers, the principals, other people that affect their children's lives have sometimes more information than they do on child-appropriate behaviors and child rearing. It's not always the truth. We all learn about parenting usually on the job.
Right.
And though people who work with children may have some additional information, and we offer through Prevent Child Abuse New Jersey a lot of training that is offered to professionals who work for children, so they have this information, and we also offer it to parents as well. However, parents are depending on others to help them maneuver the really challenging task of raising children.
Now, do parents have to reach out to you in order to receive help and guidance, or do you come to them through churches and school systems? How does that work?
What we try to do is work with any organization that connects with families, offering them workshops, parent education classes, skills training, and as well as professional training on how to engage families, how to understand the different cultures and what it is that I guess more than anything, what motivates a family, what motivates a particular culture, what's the value systems, so that we can help them raise their children and maneuver the difficult challenges that they have, also respecting who it is that they are and where they came from.
Yeah. Now, are these classes that you offer, are they a one-time shot, like a one-night class, or do they happen over several weeks? How does that work?
We do both.
Okay.
The one-shot classes are great if you want some information on perhaps positive discipline or child-appropriate behaviors, fostering self-esteem in your child. But a lot of times what organizations find is that if we can offer a series of workshops for parents, either 3 workshops or 6 workshops, then we're better able to connect parents to each other.
Yeah.
A one-shot workshop does not bond families and parents to each other the way that the dynamics of a group who's moving through a series of workshops can connect.
And why is it important for parents to connect to other parents and form that support system?
One is because they're the experts, but the other is because when, we've done multiple surveys on where do parents get their information, and they get it from other parents and they get it from relatives. Those are the 2 most common areas where parents seek information. So it really helps to connect them with other parents. We've had groups. We had a group that was working, we were debriefing the workshop series, and there were counselors that were working with families within a middle school. And the counselor had been working with one family and kept on suggesting to the parents to find a tutor for their child. The child was struggling with some schoolwork, and the counselor kept on suggesting tutors. And the parent never moved on that. And in the workshop, parents were talking, and this parent started sharing again about this concern that she had. And one of the other parents said, "How about a tutor? Maybe that would help." And the parent said, "I never thought of that. That's a great idea. Who should I call?" So parents oftentimes will believe that other parents have the key because they're the ones in the trenches as well.
All right. Well, talk to us about the feedback that you get from parents after they experience one of these classes. What do they say to you?
More than anything, most parents say it was so refreshing to hear somebody else share something that they were doing in their house, because I didn't want to say that this was happening in my house, and yet, it is. And once somebody says it, they share, they laugh, they cry. It's really a wonderful experience. It's been a real joy to deliver workshops.
And at what age do you advise parents, if they are struggling, to reach out for help? At what age, if their children are toddlers or preteen or teenagers? It's probably really harder with a teenager and all the things that you have to experience with that. What age do you advise they contact you?
When they find out that they're pregnant.
Wow.
It's amazing, the world in which we live in and what we consider is the best time to consider how to parent. But when it comes to parenting, it's what we've been, when it comes to anything, you do what you've been shown or taught. And when it comes to parenting, it's only what you've been shown. So we aren't taught about children, about their, how to best discipline them, how to best foster a good sense of themselves or a good self-worth. So, we are forced to go to Lamaze classes for something that's a perfectly natural biological function, which is childbirth.
But it helps you cope.
It helps you cope with that, doesn't it? And, the worst of labors are you're going to have to cope for about a day, about 24 hours, but that child will be yours forever. It's 24 hours a day for 18 years, and then you're parenting from afar because they're away. So, but the other thing, in reality, the best time to reach out to other families is any time that you find that you'd like to learn a little bit more about how to handle toddlers, how to select preschools, what's important about safety in a camp when you're deciding where to send your child to camp. Teenage parents are very hard to reach, but it's a very difficult time. Teenagers, it's a time of separation and identification, and parents, who were, the best thing next to sliced bread for children at age 10 are just terrible. We don't want, leave me alone, get away from me. Well. So how do you parent? You have to parent differently, and you need sometimes to hear from other parents how to make that transition so that you help your child grow through the stages that they need to grow through.
We're going to take a short break right now, but when we come back, we'll find out what does help, and we'll find out from Carole O'Brien right after these messages. Please stay tuned.